as you all spotted, we've got a mixture of units. We've got to make sure they're the same units. Doesn't matter which one you change it to, it just you need to change them to be the same units. You need to know about changing meters and kilometres. You need to know how many meters there are in 1 kilometre. 1,000. Kilo means 1,000. So if you change them both to be meters, then this would be 820 meters. And if you change this one to be kilometres, it would be 0.32 kilometres. So your choice is there. It doesn't matter which one you choose. So we would have sine theta over, which one are we going to do? Meters or kilometres? Equals sine 115 over 820. Yeah? Sine theta is sine 115. Okay, so it's 20.7 degrees, not meters either. Alright, okay, so ambiguous case. And so as I said, this can be a little bit complicated. You need to do a little bit of visualization here. These kinds of situations only come up when they have given you certain pieces of information. So what they've told us that in triangle PQR, sine length P is 5 centimetres, length R is 7.2, and angle P is 37. So I know that the angle opposite the length, the 5 centimetre length, is 37 degrees, and that this other length is 72. So they haven't. So it is 7.2. 7.2. They haven't told us how long this length here is, okay? And they haven't told us anything about this angle here or this angle here, okay? So essentially, all we know is that we've got this angle and this length, and so this line goes up here somewhere. Now, there's actually 2 different triangles that we could draw having a length of 5 centimetres here. It could look like this, or this line could be like this, and this would also be 5 centimetres, okay? So you've actually got 2 different options. I think I've got that.
Why did you draw another triangle?
Why would you draw another triangle? Well, what I'm saying is that because they've not given us any other information, they haven't said, oh, and this length is so-and-so, it means that you've actually got 2 different options. You can't specify, or you don't necessarily know which one is the one you're interested in. So that's why it's called the ambiguous case, because there are 2 options. So you could have that this is your angle, or this down here could be the angle at the top. Okay? Looking at the connection between them, well, if we know that this length here was 5, and we've drawn our new blue triangle with this length here is 5, yeah, are you with me?
Mm-hmm. So you're drawing those.
Then this is obviously an isosceles triangle, yes? So if we've labelled this as x, it means that we can also label this as x, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And if our other option, so if our 2 options are x and y as our angles, it must mean that these 2 here have to add up to 180, yes? Mm-hmm. So if you calculate one of them, doesn't matter which one, you can find the other one by subtracting it from 180. Okay? You'll happy with that?
So x and x, they equal?
Yes, they would have to be because we know that this would be an isosceles triangle. Just because of the nature of how we've drawn it. Because we know that this length, if this length was 5, we could have drawn it down here as also being 5, and so that would be an isosceles triangle. As I said to you, what I want you to take away from it is not to confuse yourself, and you wouldn't need to draw a different triangle or anything. You just need to know that if they've started mentioning that there's another option, you just calculate one, as you have done normally, and then subtract it from 180. They might start saying that the angle is an acute angle, or the angle is an obtuse angle. So you have to remember what the definition is. So an acute angle is? Small. How small?
Smaller than 90.
Smaller than 90. And what's an obtuse? Bigger than 90, but less than 180. Okay? So you know that once you've if they've said that it's an obtuse angle, if you did a calculation and you ended up finding this one, then you would know that you would have to do that subtraction from 180 to find the other one.
But what would that tell you?
It would tell you that, so for example, if they said it's an obtuse angle, you would calculate it and go, oh, hang on a minute, I found the situation for this triangle and I needed the one for this one. Like your calculation will give you the smallest angle, that will always give you the angle closest to 0. So it will generally give you the smallest one. So to find, if they've said specifically it's an obtuse one, you need to do that subtraction. If they said it's an acute one and you found an acute angle, you don't have to do anything else. Okay? But just be aware that there could be 2 options. Okay? So, find 2 possible values of an angle ACB. Okay, so first of all we need to establish which one are we actually trying to find. ACB. Which one's ACB? This top one here. Okay, so we're trying to find that baby. So we'd use our normal sine rule. So sine theta over 15 is equal to sine 47 over 12. Oh. Sine 47 over 12 15. Oh. So, I calculated 66.1. My other solution is just going to be 180, subtract that value. In those other questions, it was slightly different. What we had done was found the other angle, and so we would add those 2 together and subtract that from 180. This is a different situation. What we're saying is it's either this or just straightforward 180, subtract that. Okay, so it's a slightly different situation to those other questions. It's literally just because there are 2 different options. If you use your calculator and typed in sine 113.9 divided by 15 and sine 47 divided by 12, you would get the same value. If you type sine 66.1 divided by 15, you would again get the same value as this. So either of these 2 degrees would work for that particular question. Okay?
So there's 2 answers.
So there are 2 answers, and that's why. So if a question says give both answers or give 2 answers, that's where you're like, oh god, hang on, it's one of those ones. I have to do that 180 thing afterwards. If it says give the obtuse angle and you had ended up with this, you know that's not an obtuse angle. I've also seen people just put a 1 in front of it to say it's 166.1 to make it an obtuse angle. It's like, why? I don't understand that. So because that's not an obtuse angle, we knew that we wanted this one here. So you just do the 180, subtract it. If they said find the acute angle and you got this, check, done, you can go. You don't have to do this bit, but just read the question and just be aware that there is another option. Yeah.
I don't understand how there can be 2 answers for it.
Because of the way that it could be drawn. So going back to this bit here, so you could have this, oh, shut now. You could have this triangle, which has lengths of 7.2 and 5, and this angle being 37. Or you could have this triangle, which has length of 7.2 and 37, and this is 5, okay? Because they haven't specified how long this is, or what angle this is. Like, because it's because they didn't specify this length here. It could be either of them, okay? Alright, okay, let's do some practice.